Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate broker Cathy Burns of the Cathy Burns Realty Group at Keller Williams Realty based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Cathy has been a licensed real estate broker in both North Carolina and South Carolina since 2005. She specializes in residential real estate in the greater South Charlotte area, including nearby areas of South Carolina. Cathy received recognition in Charlotte Magazine as a 10-year winner of the prestigious 5-Star Real Estate Professional Award. Cathy has been interviewed for several local real estate news articles. And prior to becoming a real estate broker, Cathy spent 10 years as a federal criminal investigator. She applies her tenacious spirit to providing unparalleled market savvy and customer service. All right, with all that said, Cathy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Keith. I'm thrilled to be here.
And Cathy, if we could start for our listeners, what led you into real estate? Was it something that you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
Well, I wouldn't say that I stumbled into it. I spent 10 years as a federal criminal investigator, so I knew from my personality style that I wanted to be my own boss, and I also needed to replace a 6-figure income with minimal startup costs, and real estate really offered me a great opportunity. In fact, it's a great opportunity for any entrepreneur like myself.
And do you think you could talk a little bit about what personal attributes, traits, or qualities you think have most contributed to the success that you've had in real estate?
Well, I've always been very determined to succeed, and I have taken it upon myself to invest in the training and coaching necessary to ensure that I deliver a high level of skill, market savvy, and service to my clients.
And do you think you give our listeners an example of when these traits have played a role in your path towards success?
Since I have a constant desire to improve, I also self-discover when I need to make adjustments to achieve better results. And again, through the extra training and business coaching that I've participated in over the last 2 years, my income has increased by 68% since 2014. So that's a pretty easy to measure outcome.
And I think whenever somebody builds a successful business or a career, that sometimes the path to get there is filled with bumps in the road along the way. Can you talk about some of the adversities and trials you've had to overcome in order to achieve your goals?
Well, one trial or adversity that I had to overcome was not having a business background. So learning to approach my business as a business has been a bit of a work in progress for me. I now track my production numbers as closely as I track my profit and loss statements, and I'm continually evaluating my pipeline of business. That has really been a game changer for me in the last couple of years.
And I guess as obstacles and things, kind of come up for you, why don't you give up? What's your driving force?
Well, failure has never been an option for me. I have a big why. I think that's something that anyone who is an entrepreneur and a business person, they need to figure out what's their big why. Mine is taking care of my family and building a secure financial future. And that's really what motivates me every day.
And I guess kind of looking forward, what's your vision for your business and your career over the next 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself leading my team of like-minded professionals who work day to day with our clients while I focus on the bigger picture of managing our business, and I'd like to eventually teach or coach others.
And I guess kind of on top of that, what do you feel is the best way you market yourself as a real estate professional so you can have continual growth?
Real estate is a contact sport. In fact, it's really a close contact sport, meaning that agents must get face-to-face to build relationships and secure the business with their clients. Once the business is secured, then the level of expertise and service has to exceed the client's expectations. That way we ensure continual referrals and repeat business.
And I think sometimes when the general public looks at real estate agents, they don't fully understand the value they provide from both the buyer and a seller standpoint. What do you think the biggest misconception or myth people have about working with a real estate agent?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions that people have working with a real estate agent is probably the amount of money that agents earn from a transaction. People overlook that commissions are typically shared between listing agents and buyer agents. Then we also share our commissions with our individual firms, then with federal and state taxes, and not to mention our monthly expenses to maintain our license and association dues, fuel costs. The list goes on. It's really not as lucrative as some people seem to think.
And let's say you get a call from a family member or a friend, and they're in another state and they want to sell their home. Now, obviously, with your experience and being part of Keller Williams, you could easily look up an agent and do a referral. But from a general advice standpoint, what advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs?
Well, that's pretty easy for me. I would encourage them to seek out an agent who is similar to me, and I would actually, like you said, I would want to let me use my network to help find them a qualified broker to handle the transaction in their area, and then together we would make sure that the job gets done.
Excellent. And obviously based out of the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And if somebody's looking for real estate services or an agent in that general area, what's the best way they can find out more information about you and how you can help?
I can be reached online at www.cathyburns.com or on my telephone number, 704-307-3839.
Excellent. Well, Cathy, obviously we want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here and share all your professional real estate experience with our listeners. And if you're listening and you want to learn more about Cathy, actually below this interview, we'll have a link to her site and any other contact information we have so you can see how she can help you with your real estate needs. So with that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.